with Half Dozen Customs. It's Monte Monday, so we're out here on the Monte Carlo. We still have those couple of brackets that we need to do for the core support. But since that is done inside the sandblasting cabinet and you guys can't really, see inside there, all you could really do is just sit there and watch me sit in front of it, which is boring. So I figure we'll start on this fender. And what I'm thinking, where we need to start is we need to get this cleaned up. We need to get it sandblasted and cleaned up so that we are not, putting nice metal over a rusty piece. So we are going to be coming up here and fixing this. But what I'm thinking is we're gonna sandblast this and get this cleaned up. And we'll make our piece for down here. And then maybe once we get this piece made, we'll get it kind of tacked in place, and then we'll cut this top section out, and we'll make this piece before we weld everything in. And then that way, with this piece tacked in, we can cut this piece back off and we can sandblast what we need to sandblast up here, and then start putting everything together. If you guys haven't been here before, welcome to the channel. And this is Colleen, my significant other's very first car, and it has been in storage for 25 plus years. Some of it was stored outside, most of it was stored in a garage. But it just rotted away to junk. Basically, this thing, most people wouldn't have repaired this one. But being her first car, we are going to do whatever it takes to get this guy back together. The frame is done. The whole underneath of the car is done. We have patched and repaired the entire floor. We've done some custom work to the firewall. We've pulled the original V6 out of it. We have a 350 sitting behind me that's done and ready to go in here. We were hoping to put new fenders, doors, quarters on it. I just can't afford it at the moment. So we're going to continue on and get these fenders repaired so that we don't have to replace them. Doors are trash. Definitely need doors. Quarter panels, I'm sure I could save them if I really wanted to, but we're still gonna push for quarters on this guy. And it needs a new hood. We have the old hood for it and it's solid, but it has been jumped on and climbed on and stuff piled on top of it, and it is completely caved in. So we will be getting a new hood for it eventually. So it's just kind of a rundown. If you want to see all the other crazy work that we've done to this thing, go ahead and check out our other videos. We do have some other videos out there, various projects, car shows. We have a Jeep that we're working on that there's lots of videos for that. So yeah, like I said, I think I want to try and bridge this up in here. So okay. A lot of this stuff back here is done. So when we go to sandblast this, I don't want to sandblast like the frame because it's already done. The bottom of the core support is done. It's already been all cleaned up and undercoated and everything like that. Top of the firewall's in primer, ready for paint. So we also got the roof in primer. That I'm going to be sanding down and repriming again. I only put a couple coats on there just to stop weather from affecting what we had going on. Trunk's ready for paint. So slowly but surely we're moving along. Core support's done, other than a couple of brackets that I mentioned in the beginning. So this is what I'm going to do to sandblast it. I'm just going to use this little hand sandblasting unit here. Normally something like this, we only have 2 bolts holding the fender on. I would just take the fender outside and we would sandblast what we need to do. We're probably going to end up taking this thing outside and sandblasting the entire fender, both of them. But it's like 50, 60 plus mile an hour winds outside, so you guys might hear that in the camera. It is super, super windy out. So we're not doing any sandblasting outside today. Okay, I'm gonna bring you guys in here with me. This is gonna be messy. Turn on the light. I hate sandblasting in the shop. For those of you who have been here, you know. But over the winter, I actually built a sandblasting booth off the side of my one garage door over here, so that we were able to sandblast all winter. Stuff like doors and fenders and trunk lids and hoods and whatever we needed to get sandblasted. So that way we were inside in the warmth and we were able to reuse the sand. It worked out awesome. I really enjoyed having that in my shop. I kind of missed that it's not there, but it took up a lot of room. It actually stopped me from working on the back project because there was a room built in front of that project. And it made a huge mess. Super dusty, lots of sand everywhere. So one of these days I would like to get a shed off the back of the shop here, that we can actually go and have a door from the shop into that shed and be able to sandblast in that shed. But we will see. So for right now, I'm gonna bring you guys in here with me, and I brought this plastic, which was actually the plastic doors from our little booth that we made. And we're gonna try and just kind of keep the sand a little contained. I know it's not gonna be super contained, but it'll be better than nothing. Here we go. Okay, so you guys can kind of see what we're working with. I don't know how much of that you got to see. I looked over and it looked like the curtain may have been covering the camera. I don't know. But you can see kind of where we're at. It still needs a little bit more, But I'm gonna move the camera out of here because I just feel like I'm sandblasting the camera, so I don't want to do that. So we will be back when I get this a little more cleaned up, and we'll see how it turned out. So, okay, we got this all sandblasted and cleaned up. Oh, yeah. So it looks good. This piece here we'll end up cutting back, and this will all get replaced all the way down. I think how we're gonna do it is I'm gonna make this piece, we're gonna bend a 90 that's like yay big. We'll put it in the shrinker stretcher and we'll get this all into shape. And then I think this piece we can make this piece here in one piece, but it'll be two pieces because we'll have to weld along this edge here. But we're not ready to get to that yet. What I'm gonna do now is we're gonna get some paint on this and we're gonna let it dry. Normally I use my black 2-in-1. I only have a little bit of it left. I gotta go get some more, and we need it for those brackets. And I may have just enough to paint those brackets, so I'm not going to use that on this. I just have some white. It's from Ace, but it's the same thing. It's a paint and primer in one. You know, this is just the background. You know, some people use weld through primer and stuff like that. That stuff's super expensive. All we need to do is just protect what we just sandblasted so that it doesn't rust, you know. I could care less if it's weld through or not. You know, wherever we got a weld, I use my little reamer tool, or we'll use a grinder to clean up where we need to weld. But other than that, the rest of it is protected. So you won't ever see this, so this being white isn't going to make any difference. I prefer to use black, but okay, so we'll get a few coats on this up until, you know, where it's covered in white. And then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna eat some lunch and do my normal afternoon routine, which usually entails of going in, taking a shower, cooking lunch, taking a nap, and then I come back out here. So I gotta have my old man nap or I can't make it through the day. So when we come back out here later, like I said, we'll bend a 90, and we'll put it in a shrinker stretcher, and we'll get it bent into the shape that we need. There's a slight curve that comes down to about the corner of this rocker, and then it straightens up and goes straight with the rocker. So we'll get that bended up, and then once we get that to where it's fitting, we have the other side as a reference. Now it's reverse, but what we could do is we could take a piece of construction board paper, we can lay it over the rock or the fender over there, and trim it so that it matches the fender, and then we can just bring it over here and reverse that piece of construction board paper. And that will give us our edge that we need, and then we just use a shrinker stretcher to get it to match that edge, and then we'll trim this piece back. We'll get rid of this piece because it's all rusty, and we'll tack that in its place, and then, you know, we'll see where we're at that point at the end of the night. But like I said, we'll end up making this piece here in one piece, and then we'll come up and we'll do the top section. I don't know that we're going to do the whole top section. I think we may, I don't know what you guys are seeing here. So we may, because this has a curve up and then this. So we may, this all needs to be replaced. So we may end up coming up like this. And I mean, I just, the least of this body line that we have to make, the better. So, not that it can't make it, but the more, I think the more that we have to make of it, the harder that piece is going to be to make. So if we can just replace what needs to be replaced, I think that'll be better. So, you know, being that I only work on this on Mondays, not expecting this to be done today. I mean, it could be if I was, if I would have gotten out here at, you know, 9 o'clock this morning and we worked till 9 o'clock tonight. I'm sure I could have got that done and we could have been working up here on the front, but that's just not, I've done this type of work since I was 16 years old. So we're going on, you know, we're going on 29 years of me doing this, and I did it every day, full time, and then either did after hours at the shop on my own stuff, or, you know, for a long time when I was younger, I worked in my parents' garage, and, you know, I would go home and I would work till 2, 3 in the morning, and then, you know, I would get 4 or 5 hours of sleep and I would go into work and I would do it all over again, and I did that for 20 years, and I am just beat up and sore and tired, and I work at my own pace now. I am in no rush to get anything done. So, you know, if you guys watch some of my videos and you're like, man, this guy's taking forever to build, you know, these vehicles, I've done it, and I'm tired. So, but I'm still out here, I'm still doing it, I still keep going, I just do it at my own pace now. I don't try and kill myself. I'm done trying to kill myself. So, it'll get done when it gets done. But then, we're gonna go up here next, after we get this back piece fixed. And so this piece that you're looking at now, that has like the marker light in it and whatnot. So this car used to have a chrome package on it. It had chrome, it had the marker light that went there, and then there was a piece of chrome that attached to the fender. And then there's a piece of chrome that attached to here, and this is why this is all rotted out, is because of that chrome. And there's chrome that went all the way down the side of the car, and that's why the bottom of the doors are rotted out, that's why the quarter panels are rotted out. Whole bottom end of the car is rotted out because of that chrome. Because everything, leaves, dirt, muck, whatever, falls down into that chrome or gets into that chrome, and it just sits there, and it holds water, and it causes everything to rot out. Now, at some point in time, I don't know who did it, but somebody removed all the chrome. So we don't have any of it. None of it's going back on. But the way that fender is stamped up there, it's stamped in a way that fits that chrome, and the chrome covers it. So what it looks like doesn't really matter. We need to make that look like the rest of the car, like it's supposed to be like that. So once we're done with this, we're going to be cutting that out. We're not putting the marker light back in. So we're going to be cutting all that out, and putting just a flat piece of metal in there. It will get rid of this indent that's here. We'll get rid of that marker light, and it'll just be a nice, flat, clean piece of metal. So, so this, probably over the next couple of videos, we'll get this done, and then we'll jump up to that other side. Well, you know, we'll find out once we clean it all up. But as of right now, this looks to be okay on that side. Hopefully we don't have to do anything to it. Maybe we might have to weld up some rust holes or something, but I don't think that it's this. I don't think that we will be, you know, cutting the whole bottom of the fender off and repairing it. So the other side will be, I think, hopefully, mainly just the front. Doing what we did over here and making it look like it's all just one part of the fender, and do the same thing over there. And then once we get those couple of things done, then it's just sandblasting the fenders inside and out and getting them all cleaned up and getting them primed, body worked and primed. You know, and that's it. I think this right here, what we're working on now, is the worst of it. So anyways, we will see you guys after lunch. I grabbed a piece of scrap metal, and just gonna kind of hold it in here. Kind of okay, so now maybe I should I'm gonna put this in the brake real quick and put a bend in it, and hopefully it'll be good in the right spot. Okay, so put a bend in it, and then trim this. The reason I chose this piece is because it gets wider at the top and skinnier at the bottom. I chose that purposely, because as this fender goes up into here, it goes from like this wide at the bottom all the way up to like this wide at the top as it goes up on the inside of the door jamb. When you open the door and you look in there, that's what's going on. And we need to replace probably up to here. So I think that we have enough here to do what I want to do. So okay, so from here I think we got a decent piece. You can see I kind of marked, you know, this is what I marked on the fender. Well, my squiggly line down there, it's where the fender was missing. But, you know, we have our body line and everything up here. So that's this body line here. So, now I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over to the other side and we're gonna make a template, like I said, and then we can we need to make this edge match the edge of our template. All right, let's should have grabbed the scissors over here. Berry pick. So, let's see. Now we have that, and now just flip it over. Alright, passenger side on this one, driver's side on this one, and now this can be used to make this piece, not necessarily the top piece, but it can be used for the bottom. So now this is what we are looking for down here. So now we need to take this and make this match this. Pretty sure that one stretched, that one shrink. So I still got quite a bit of ways to go. This is actually such a gradual, or such a strong bend here. We may end up having to cut it. See, we are right there. Alright, I think I'm happy with that. Okay, so you see I marked it here. As it comes down to the car, we got to notch this out so that it fits this down here. So I'm gonna go put this this here. I'm gonna go put this in the shrinker, and we're gonna put a slight curve in this here. If you look at a rocker has a curve, so we need this bend to match this. So let me just go run it through there real quick, and we'll be right back. Good. And we need to take a little more out of here. Okay, so let's see if I can get over here. See if I can bring you guys over here and get you guys a little bit better visible of what we're doing. Get some light on the situation. So that's basically, you know, what we're going for here. I think that we need to, I think, straighten this guy out just a little bit to bring this top in a little. You can see that we're, well, you know what it probably is it's probably this. You know, we didn't have that in our design. So this here is too thick to shrink or stretch. So to get this curve in here, we're not gonna get it out of this. Now they do have shrinkers and stretchers they're called deep throat shrinkers and stretchers, and they don't give you much. I think it's only like 6 inches or 4 inches or something like that. But mine is, you have like an inch that you can stick in and that's it. So we can't, what we would need is we would need that deep throat guy and start in here and work your way out, and you can shrink and stretch everything and get it in here. Reason I don't have them, the shrinker stretcher set I have is from Harbor Freight. I don't know the price exactly. I want to say it's around $200 with the stand for what I have, give or take. And the deep throat ones, you can get those on Eastwood, and I want to say they're like $1,500. So that's why I don't have them. And don't hold me to those prices. I'm just kind of trying to remember. You know, I bought my shrinker and stretcher, you know, 10 years ago. And the Eastwood one, I was just kind of trying to remember what we were looking at. So I just went and I shrink this a little bit to try and get a little bit better of a fit here. Okay, so I think we've gotten that as close as we're gonna get it. And I think what we need to do that still looks good there. I'm still happy with that. So that fits. So now what I think we need to do is I need to go get another piece of construction board paper over there, and we need to mark this, and then we're gonna have to lay it on here, and we're gonna have to cut and bring this in to match it, and then we'll have to weld it up. Okay, I moved this a little closer to the edge, so yeah, let's give this a go here. Okay, hopefully we don't mess this up, because we got some work into this guy, but we need to try and just make this fit a little better. Okay, so we kind of got this cut out. I'm gonna bend this back. It's just metal. We're gonna clean this edge up. So now we got this cleaned up. Let's just check our line. It's pretty darn close there. So now we need to kind of squeeze that in, and we'll go weld it. My welder is on the other side. Okay. So basically, that's what we got. And now this. See what we were going for there? I'm gonna go put a couple tacks in this just so that it stays. And we'll continue working on this. I think we need to I think shrink this in here a little bit. But let me put a couple tacks in this first. Okay. We're back out here. So we were over there working on the fender, and I went over to the welder that was in the corner back here to put a couple tacks in that piece that we had just cut, that weird body line in, and my memory card ran out. I went in to go grab my other memory card and it wasn't downloaded. So we had to wait for that one to download so that I had a clean memory card. I only have two. And it takes about an hour for that to download. So I kept working out here while we were waiting for that to download. As you can see, the fender is not on the car at the moment. And here's where we're at and what we got going on. So I took the fender over here and we have our piece. You can see I cut out the fender here to fit this piece. We had to beat this in because this, you can see that it's all, you know, it's all curved in. So I still got some more hammering to do in there. I think as we start to get this welded in, I put some spot weld holes in there. You know, we're gonna have to trim this off just a little bit here. But I think that we're ready to start getting this guy tacked in place and make sure that everything is still fitting. We gotta get the fender mounted back on. I think back here at this bolt that we had, we need to put a shim in there and lift up the fender some, which may change that piece some because we have that piece made to a fender that was not quite shimmed up properly. So we got this, I got this all cleaned up back here. When we cut this piece off, which is that piece down there, you can see it was all rusty. There was a lot of rust underneath there, so we grinded that up, cleaned that up, got rid of all the rust. And I think that we are ready to put this piece on. It was quite tough to beat this guy into submission. What I did was I laid it over the edge of my glove. This is just an old leather welding glove that is filled with sand, and I beat the bejesus out of it with my trusty homemade hammer here. And we got it to kind of curve and got it to do what we needed it to do. Oh yeah, and I welded up that corner and we got that all ground down in there. So I think we're fitting pretty good. I'm gonna move everything over to the other side, and we'll start tacking some stuff in place. I have a feeling this fender's gonna go on and come off and go on and come off multiple times. So let me get everything moved back over there and we'll be right back. I'm just looking to see, like, how wide is that gap at the back of the door compared to the front of the door. And I think we're about the same. So let's see where we're at with this. Okay, sorry you guys didn't get to see that, but as you can see, we are kind of really limited on space here, but you know, we still gotta finish welding that, but it is welded in, and I think that we can now continue on. Alright, well, that was a pain in the butt to make that piece, but I think we got it. Okay, so we got both sides marked out here. This is that piece that we made off of the passenger side. So now so we have a piece on here. I think it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. We need to, I was talking about putting, cutting this back down here and then making this out of one piece. We may still do that, but I don't know. I have this here. It's not looking too bad. I think if we put the body line in this piece, and then we can, we can adapt to that. But, either way, we still, we have this body line that needs to run all the way through. I'm not quite sure. I gotta look at the other side, because you see how this one goes like this. Does this one run all the way off like that? I think it does. I think it just runs off the edge. Oh, I'm getting a cramp. So, So I'm thinking that we need to put that body line in there. I don't know, like, do we attempt to put that in with the brake? Because we could put the hard brake line in and then put the curve in. You put the curve in by squeezing it a little, moving it, squeezing it a little, moving it, squeezing it, moving it, squeezing it, moving it, and we can put this bend in there. Or do we attempt to? I could probably get pretty darn close with my bead roller. So we could do that as well. I think what we would end up having to do is we would probably end up having to cut this back and then run our bead in it and then put that piece back in and weld it back in. You know, maybe we should have tried to do that before we put this bend in. You know, I don't know. Regardless, I don't think, you know, I don't think it would have mattered. But we gotta try and get it configured, and I think, you know, I think for what we got done today, I think we're pretty good. So this piece of metal was, it was a scrap piece of metal that I had, that we had used it for a test, and there were some bead rolls in it, and I ran it through the English wheel, and I knocked all those beads out of it. So this was a piece of metal that was all stretched out. So, you know, putting this bend in it, put some strength in it, putting this bend in it, put some strength in it. And then we're gonna run this bead, or however we do this, through here, which will add some strength to it. And if we still have this after that, then we'll do a little heat shrink. We'll heat it up a little bit, we'll cool it down, and we'll get rid of that. Another thing that, you know, might help getting rid of that, is that, you know, once we get this fit and we actually weld this line here, you know, it's going to shrink and cool that piece of metal. It'll pull everything this way towards our weld, and that might pull it out as well. So not really too worried about that. I think the more that we keep working the panel, the better, the more that's going to come out. So, but I think, you know, I think we're looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. There was quite a bit of work to get to this point. We still got quite a bit of more work to go, but I think it's looking pretty awesome. I'm happy with it. Remember to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Join us back here again next Monday. We'll get this guy finished up, and have a good week. I'm out.
Oop.